What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here, and welcome back to episode 9 of the walkthrough. So I know I've been going kind of fast. I'm going to try and slow things down. There's just a lot of information to cover in these episodes, and so I think it's I don't want to say stressing me out, but it's making me feel anxious about trying to fit it all in. But so the first thing I want to do is recap some things. I've been pinning comments on each episode that give a brief overview of what we're doing, as long as any correction. So I would always suggest checking for a pinned comment on an episode. To start, a couple things I want to address that people have had questions about. This balcony will lead to an invasion event. When you jump down, you're going to have to fight a guy. You can try and do it right now. I wouldn't suggest it. There's no way to get your souls back unless you beat him. So just hold off on that for now. Some additional things that I want to touch on here at the round table. I mentioned I wasn't sure if you could switch between male or female with the mirror. You can, in fact. It's under body type, buff body, and slender body. So that does exist. Good catch, pokes in the comments section. Clarification on Fia and the Baldachian's Blessing. So when you let her hug you, you get the debuff. As I mentioned, you get the item, the Baldachian's Blessing, and I said, you use that, you die, debuff's gone. To clarify, the debuff is related to the Baldachian's Blessing. Until you've used that item, and as long as it sits in your inventory, you will have the HP debuff. After you've used that item, any world state reset will remove the debuff. So you could fast travel somewhere, you could rest at a grace, you could die. Any of those will fulfill the conditions of removing the health debuff. She also has some additional dialogue about talking in secret. I would not suggest doing that right now. In general, I've had a lot of folks ask, like, hey, can I just wander the world and do whatever I want? To reiterate, I always suggest you should do a blind playthrough first. You're never going to get back your first experience with a new game like this, and they're very unique in that they promote just blind open world exploration. If you want to follow this guide, I would suggest following it on a second or a third playthrough when you want to try and get everything or get all the trophies or all the items. I would not suggest following this for your first playthrough at all, because it's going to ruin that experience. And if you just want to wander around and explore something and do it blind, that's great, but it may mess up a quest chain. And if it's your first playthrough, that's okay. I made tons of mistakes my first playthrough. There were tons of things I messed up, and, that's just how it is. It's a game. We can always start over and play again. To talk about over here, as I mentioned, these doors kind of lead to some assassin-y type stuff. Go ahead and unlock the first one. You should have plenty of stone sword keys. If you don't, as a quick reminder, you can buy some from this merchant down here. He sells some. The isolated shack in Southwest. The second one leads to the Assassin's Prayer Book. The first one, which will be right here in this chest after we've opened this door, I already have, got it, upgraded it. But that gives us the Crepus Black Key Crossbow. As I mentioned, it'd be good to have a ranged weapon on the build, just to be able to snipe stuff. I had a chance to go through and test out a couple different crossbows and bows, and given the stat requirements that we already had to hit for our Bloodhound's Fang, this is going to be an excellent option for us. It has plenty of range, it shoots fast. Go on and pick that up. As for the second door, I will not be getting it. That is the Assassin's Prayer Book. There are two incantations. One of them is called Darkness, which just creates this cloud of darkness that your character can hide in, but as soon as you leave it, you're detected. So kind of pointless. The other one can reduce fall damage and quiet your footsteps, which is good if you're trying to walk around and backstab all the enemies. But effectively, as for fall damage, we get something later called Soft Cotton, which will just, it'll break our falls. So very situational. Also, it's worth mentioning that that doesn't prevent fatal fall damage. A fall that is fatal will still kill you. As some folks have also pointed out, we can use our rainbow stones to see if a fall is fatal. That's true. At the same time, I'm not going to constantly hop off my horse and throw down a rainbow stone. So, yes, you can do that if you're unsure, but it's not the best solution. A couple other things besides the assassin, we also still have the tree sentinel, which we haven't tackled him right yet. You'll remember that was the guy on the horse right between these two graces. We're going to probably tackle him towards the end of this episode, but I think he's more challenging than Margit, in my opinion, just because he can reflect spells, so he can be very troublesome for casters. And if you're not comfortable with the horse combat yet, I think he can give some trouble to even the melee folks. Besides that, another thing, back here, when we killed this guy, the Wolfman should be chilling right here around this jail. If you talk to him, you'll get a Sombering level 2, which we can then use to upgrade the crossbow. So that's why my crossbow is now at, wherever it's at +2, even though I just picked it up. And I think that about covers it. So I'm going to... Yes, that's okay, D. Don't need to Since he's talking, I'm going to show you the incantations he has. I haven't used any of these. They're not that good. It's a split scaling too, so very few builds are actually going to utilize that stuff. You need both int and faith. Go fast. We're just going to drop a bunch of different things just to make getting through my inventory a little bit easier. And then we are going to turn off tutorials. Ah, thank God. So, as I mentioned, this episode we are going to finish up the Weeping Peninsula. I've already gone ahead and marked up our first places we're going to hit. First we're going to go on over here, then we're going to go on over here, then we're going to go to these ruins, and then we're going to make our way down towards that village. So we can, a couple different ways we can get to us, but the easiest is going to be just running across there. Because of the cliff ledge, you can kind of swing up through here, so just hop to the Castle Morn Rampart and we'll get going. It's night. Well, we could try and kill the rider. Why not? Let's see if we can kill the rider real fast since we're here. We went over horse combat briefly. For my melee people, hold a big juicy heavy attack. Seeing the damage the Bloodhound Fang does, we probably could kill the Tree Sentinel at this point, but I just know traditionally he's one of the bigger stopgaps for new players. On. So killing him gets us another nighttime world boss down. And there we go. Barricade shield and the Knight Rider flail. Really cool looking weapon, but 24 dex is needed, so not something I'm going to use on this build. But let's go ahead. We'll make it daytime now that he's down. I don't believe there's a death bird in this region. If there is, I have searched and I have not found it. So we're going to head on up, and then we are going just northeast of the Crater-Pocked Glade. That's that area where we killed that unique guy that had a gravity-type sword and was doing some stuff, but was ultimately inconsequential. You can see all the craters. Oh, there's a little grace right here. I never noticed that. See, constantly, this is why I was so hesitant about the walkthrough. There's so many little things that are tucked away and hidden in this world. It's very, very easy to overlook something. But I got that platinum dough. Just ride right on down this. You can see there's a couple of enemies here. We're not terribly worried about any of them. I'm just gonna hop on up to the Forest Lookout Tower. You can climb up the ladders as well. I just find that to be a much easier route than dealing with all the other stuff that's in the way. This guy, good boop. And this gives us the Hand Ballista. Now, since we just picked up another ranged weapon, let's talk about the difference. 30 strength requirement, obviously very hefty. This is a one-handed ballista that can fire great bolts, so very strong. Also, of course, it needs a huge stat requirement, so not my recommended weapon of choice for a lot of builds. But we're going to work our way down. And then we're going over to 2 on the map. Get our way down. There's a cave down there. There should be a down right here. A lot of little caves tucked in. This is the Earthbore Cave. We get a Spelldrake Talisman, which is, you know, kind of useless. That's the only thing of value in here. This floor is going to crumble. You can see how it's all cracked, so just stay to the right of that. Open the chest, get the turtlenecks, and we'll head on down. So in general, for these caves, these smaller ones, we're just going to run on in, kill the boss, grab the key loot. If there's anything in particular that is of major value, like some of them you might find well, not some of them, but there's like one in particular where you can pick up a ball bearing. In cases like that, we'll grab it. For the most part, we're just going to focus on, you know, showing you all the areas that are worth going to. Because there's so much stuff where you could wander around and, you know, you'll go down a pathway and there's 2 rats and then you get, you know, glowstones out of it. Which kind of begs the question of, like, did I really care enough to come into this cave for some glowstones? But I'm trying to get everything, I guess so. Alright, now this is a big bear. Go on and buff with our flask. Go on and summon. Now you're seeing why I call them rune bears. Reminder, there's that other rune bear that I said don't try and fight yet. We can get the larval tear from him. We might be able to take him down at this point now that we got some weapon upgrades, but, you know, as always, I wouldn't suggest fighting anything that you're uncomfortable with. In fact, that goes so far that in this game, like even main bosses, you actually only need to kill 2 main bosses to advance the story. I've seen people that are stuck on certain main bosses and they're like, I can't beat this thing. And I'm like, you don't have to. Just come back later. They're like, no, but it's a main boss. And you don't have to. Come back later. They really give you a lot of freedom in how you choose to explore the world here. So basically anything that you get stuck on, just come back later. If you can't kill Margit when I killed Margit, that's fine. You can get him at a different time. If we go to kill the Tree Sentinel this episode, and y'all can't kill the Tree Sentinel, that's fine. Just get him another time. That's the one thing I will say. A lot of people are always concerned about missing stuff. And as far as I know, there are no bosses that are missable in the game. With the exception of some mini-bosses in the capital, and you would have to largely go through the capital and ignore them for that to become the case. There we go. Put on my... Well, now we're in combat. So I was hoping to pull out the demi-humans and have a little demi-human on demi-human battle. I still can. Let me go. Nope, I didn't. Oh well. Well, now we got the jellyfish out. Jellyfish is good. So the big one is the only one we need to be concerned about. This thing has a staff. Not very good, but, you know, it's a staff. It's a thing. You can get it. Okay. I need you to stop. As you can see, she'll kill her own minions. Trying to get rid of these guys so that the big one will focus on the jellyfish instead of bopping me with the stick. it's my turn. Crystal Burst Sorcery, which unfortunately isn't very good. I wish it were, but sadly that is not the case. Okay, switch. Pull on out the demi-humans, which I forgot to upgrade, but that's okay. No, why not? While we're swapping stuff up, we'll try out the Godric guys just to show them off, see if they're any good. So from here, we're going to work our way back over to the village. There's a shield we can pick up there still. It's not very good. I considered whether or not it was even worth taking the time to go over there, but you know, we'll swing by. I'll show it to y'all. Probably the better thing is after we get there, there's some other stuff that we can get. Which actually, I think that other stuff is like right where we're at. Let me check real fast. You drop and you can get lightning strike right around here. Okay, so it is up. Oh, hang on, this is the Morn Tunnel. Yes. Okay, so then lightning strike is from the drop. Oh, yep, I know. It's above us, so we do need to go up. See, this is why you can never discount the notes. Notes already show the way. Just need to follow them. Oh no. Let's go use the other one over here. There was another airlift that I could use. Thought there was. No. Did we pass it? I'll just ride up on the hill. It's the old-fashioned way. Then we're gonna go to the village, get the crappy shield. And we're going to go west and drop down to get access to lightning strike. Actually, I think I can go up this way. Let me just warp. I need to be out of combat to warp, of course. For this thing, these were mini bosses for us in a dungeon a while ago. The ability to fast travel, to instantly get somewhere, is so insanely good. Right, where was that shield? It was in the outskirts of the village. There it is. Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks okay. But anyway, the big thing we want is lightning strike, which is a really useful weapon art for melee. Heard him. Well, oh nope, I went too far. How do I want to do it? Walk on, yes. Not go far enough. And still not going to go far enough. Well, that's where we need to get, is right there in front of us. So we'll just mark that. Fast travel again and run off. There he is. I always recommend dismounting for these things. I feel like I get a little bit over with my horse. Lightning strike. So just taking a look at that real fast. Where's he at? Where did he go? Why is it not showing up in our Ash of War? It should show up in our Ash of War. Wait, was that not an Ash? Was it an incantation? I thought it was an Ash. Well, anyway, now we're going to go into the Morn Tunnel and then the Morn Rampart. I'm like, why can't I open my damn map? Yeah, we're just going to do it this way. While we're here, we'll check, because I thought that was an Ash of War, but perhaps it was an incantation and I mislabeled it. Indeed, lightning strike. Summon lightning bolt that spreads from impact. There you go, faith folks. We got something new for you. I'm thinking of thinking of the lightning skill that you can get. That's in the network test. You can also pick that one up fairly early. And that one's super useful for melee, because it basically allows us to just summon down a lightning bolt. Obviously, you know, that gives us a safe ranged option to take stuff out. Like the birds that are up in the air and whatnot. We can just pop them off with it very easily. I mean, crossbows are fine and all, but once something starts moving and grooving and it's dodging all over the place, at that point, something with a little more lock-on is always appreciated, and a giant bolt of lightning that summons directly from the sky to hit a flying bird. Very convenient. We'll get that soon, though. So in Morn Tunnel, lot of different upgrade materials we can get around here. In general, the rule of thumb is if you're gonna, you know, for tunnels are always good to clear out, because tunnels are gonna be filled with upgrade mats. Caves, well, just to take a look. So this is a tunnel. You can see how it has a distinct kind of like archway. Tunnels are always gonna have loot. You remember Limgrave tunnels? That's where we got upgrade mats. We're gonna get more here. Caves in particular are usually just going to be kind of short. You know, we have, let's look at other caves we went in. Groveside Cave, that was a nice short one. The Cave with the Bear was a nice short one. And caves are usually just going to be like a mini boss. You know, Murkwater Cave is where Patches was. They're all very short. And then you have your catacombs. Now, catacombs are more similar to the caves. How caves, you're going to find your upgrade mats for weapons. Catacombs, you're usually going to find the upgrade mats for your summons. So, in particular, we go over here, you know, we'll get smithing stones and somber stones in caves, and then we're going to get our grave and ghost glovewort in catacombs. Excuse me, tunnels, not caves. Caves less good, tunnels, catacombs, good. Jump across. Started, so it's just a safer way to come in here, because you start running across that beam and that dude wakes up, then you're in trouble. That is... This is where we proceed through. No, this is... Yeah. Let's just kill everything here. More somber. One thing that I think is worth pointing out, if you've played older Souls games, you know there's always been the concern of mimics. When is a treasure chest going to suddenly decide that it wants to bite you? That is not a concern in Elden Ring. In the 150 hours I have played, at this point I've gone through even New Game Plus, I have never found a mimic. I found the teleport trap chests, but that is it. I haven't found any chests where you open them up and they explode, or you open them up and they try to eat you, or anything like that. So, when you see a treasure chest, as long as you don't see any enemies nearby that are ready to jump on your head when you open it, you're going to be safe. So this is just down here from that start. Did you stop with the hippity hoppity? Oh my god. It's like I'm jumping back. I'm jumping back. You're never gonna get me. Like, stop. Stay still. Obnoxious little buggers. They're actually going to be the main area, or the main enemy of the next zone we go after. Okay. Did that. Don't believe we did this tunnel. Should start farming up my little drops. Yeah, there we go. I was talking earlier about soft cotton. This will reduce fall damage and sound. Same effect as that encampment. Or the incantation that you can get. So that's why we're not really worried about getting that thing. Because, like, how often do you need to have silent footsteps and reduced fall damage, you know? Like, it's one of those, there are very specific times where that's going to be helpful. Ready to fight a big boy. Scaly man. So, let's try these dudes out. See what you're capable of, and it looks like I might not even be able to actually, let me see, switch you. 69. Oh, I have 68 FP. That's sad. They're really nice. They're really nice. I don't know if they're better than you, but they are very nice. See, this is the problem with humanoids. Look at them. They got staggered. They're doing okay. And then meanwhile, I just do this. So, Rusted Anchor, this is a not bad great axe. In general, I actually just got done doing some of the testing for the strength build, and the greatsword that I recommended our strength gang use. Fun fact, that is actually the 4th strongest pure AR colossal sword in the game. Higher than it is, there are 2 hammers and 1 glaive that go higher than it in the strength category of colossal weapons, at least. But yeah, that greatsword will do really good damage. It'll carry you all the way. So we already killed the Knight Rider. We're gonna hop over to the Bridge of Sacrifice real fast just to talk to Arena. Now, Arena can be in a couple different quests. This actually pertains to Varl, the dude at the beginning who tells you you're maidenless. Varl needs you to find the blood of a maiden, and you can use Arena's blood or Grape Lady's blood. Or there is a 3rd NPC that's kind of hidden that you can use, and that's who I would suggest going with for that quest line. But so anyway, talk to Arena. She's blind. She is going to give you a letter. Keep talking to her. She's going to give you a letter for her father. She dies, like, no matter what. As far as I know, and in every playthrough I've done, you deliver the letter, Daddy comes back, she's dead. You know, I guess that's a spoiler, but whatever. Ironically, she looks literally identical to the Grape Lady Maiden that we're going to find. But yeah, at this point, we have finished up all this. We're going to be working our way down here to tackle Castle Morn. Believe it or not, there's like nothing in this area. There's a seed that's like right around here that we're going to get on the way. But besides that, on all this and this weird little swamp, I figured for sure there'd be something here. And it's just like a couple enemies. There's no loot. But yeah, we're looking good on time, so let's go on over. We'll see if we can... Considering we killed Knight Rider, we should be beefy enough to kill the Tree Sentinel real fast. So in general, for the Tree Sentinel, he can hit really hard. Spell builds are going to want to be careful because his shield can reflect your spells back at you. So, you know, that's not going to be fun if it happens. So just kind of, yeah. And you can see his health. He's definitely beefier than the Knight Rider guy was. But same strategy that we used on the Knight Riders. I'm just going to run up and do heavies and then keep riding. Don't let that halberd hit you. If it looks like he's going to do his shield slam, I would suggest sprinting away. You can tell because he'll like kind of jump off to the side a little bit. You get a stagger like that, get 2 free attacks, and I wouldn't suggest risking any more than that. There's the shield slam. See that? This is why I thought it's good to wait for this guy. He got us with 1 shield slam, and that was half of our health. And even then, that halberd, that did about a third of it. Fun fact, you can get his shield much later in the game, and it's actually one of the best great shields. Not just from a pure stat perspective, but it has a unique parry that will reflect any spells and send back like a bolt of lightning at the target, similar to what he does to you. So unfortunately, just a couple of runes out of him, but I will point out his weapon, the Golden Halberd. Now this is actually a really, really nice weapon. Obviously pretty steep stat requirements there at 14 Dex, 12 Faith, and 30 Strength. But this thing does pretty good. It has Golden Vow, which is, there's a spell you can get that's similar to that, so it's a pretty good buff. Think of it like Sacred Oath almost, so you're getting a attack power increase, you're getting a defensive increase, and on top of that, the moveset on this is the superior moveset of Halberd. So what I mean by this is there's 2 Halberd movesets. There's one where it just pokes, and then there's one that's more of a slashing. I greatly prefer the slashing moveset, so we have an overhead, across, and then a diagonal, which is pretty nice. We have a backstep thrust, which is always a really good move. Our heavies are going to do big overheads. Our running attacks are going to do the thrust. So yeah, all around good weapon. It requires, you know, you need stats in multiple places to use it. So if you're doing kind of a paladin type thing, this might be a good one to go for. It's a really, really solid choice. But anyway, that is going to wrap things up for this episode. So from here, we're going to head to the Castle Morn Rampart. Did Morn Tunnel, did Knight Rider, we did... Yep, alright. I'm going to make some bullet points on the video. Next episode, we're going to be tackling Castle Morn, which will get us our first legendary weapon. At this point, of course, we have a bunch of runes we can spend, so let's level those up. For those sticking with me and going with my levels at this point, I think getting endurance to, well, that looks good. 25-18. I want to get my... Right now, the big focus is just getting up my vigor and endurance, because I already have enough strength and dexterity for a weapon. And real fast, just to give an idea here, because this is only at level 4, my attribute scaling is only D and C. So I'm not really getting all that much out of my scaling bonus. I'm getting 84, so it's making up less than a third of my weapon damage. The majority of damage right now of this is coming from the fact that it's +4. Now, once weapons get up much higher, for unique weapons, that's +10. For regular weapons, that's +25. At that point, you start seeing very significant returns on attribute scaling, things like S scaling and A scaling. And at that point, that's where having really high stats, having your strength and dexterity jacked way up, is really going to make a difference. So for now, early on in the game especially, it's better to focus on health and endurance. If you're playing a magic build though, I would suggest health, mind, and whatever your magic stat is, whether that's intelligence or faith. So we're going to wrap things up here, Castle Morn in the next episode, and I will see you all then.